So Gordon, thanks again for having us, sir. You were the man that started this great race that has lasted 50 years. Tell us about the idea to begin this race in the first place.
Well, like most things, it's linked to a little story. This was around the time of the Black Power, when there were all the marches and so on within the country. And I remember I had gone to Tobago about 2 or 3 weeks before. And while I was there, I saw so many people just walking around the road, but nobody was on the beach. People just didn't come from Trinidad to Tobago to go on the beach at that time. Whatever scared them, I don't know. But then 2 weeks later, when the yachts would leave from the yacht club and sail up to Grenada, and there were 1 or 2 patrol boats that went up with them. These are privately owned boats who went up for the weekend, and we went in one boat. So we were going up amongst the yachts, which were just sort of to be there in case of any accidents. And when we got there, the following day we got there Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning, and sitting on the boat looking at the beach, there were hundreds of people, many of whom were Trinidadians, who had come up because of the event with all the yachts coming up, and they were having themselves a ball on the beach. And I thought, what if we could come up here and accompany these boats up here? Surely these boats could come a little faster and a little faster and a little faster and race. Of course, 1 or 2 of my friends tried to dissuade me that was nonsense. The boats would be swamped and all sorts of things. But anyway, I persisted with chatting because the chaps who were on our boat, we were talking about it. And then I saw Ralph Gibson, who had a big boat called Daydream, a few hundred yards away. And I said, well, let me bounce this off him and see if he'd be interested. And I got in the dinghy and I rowed across to him and I said, oh, I'm thinking of starting a race. We didn't have a name yet. From Trinidad to Grenada. But I would feel so much happier if you could go along with him, because he was also a highly respected man in the sea. He had done all sorts of things as an individual. And he agreed. And that was about March, April, because it was the Easter weekend. And by 3 or 4 months later, by August, we had the first race. So we moved very sharply between March, April, and August to get that done. At that race, we had as many as 54 boats, 1 or 2 pirogues, 1 or 2 very raw sailing boats. But essentially, you had faster boats going, some outboard boats went. And we went up in one called Broad Jumper, which was my brother, who was alive at the time, and we came forth. But just getting from the yacht club to down to 5 Islands was a huge challenge, because when you see the wake that comes from 54 boats, staying and avoiding being swamped was as much a challenge as anything else. Well, from there it has developed. But a great deal of the credit must go to Mr. Ralph Gibson, who insisted on very high standards of safety from the beginning. And that's why today the race can probably say that it has not had a fatality in all these years, largely because of the standards that have accompanied it in terms of security and safety.
50 years later, did you expect when you started that race, we've had the attempted coup in between all those years, that it would run for 50 years consecutively?
Oh, I could tell you yes, and that would make me sound like a great visionary, but that wouldn't be true. No, of course not. I visualize it as being something that could grow, because I knew how keen people who were in boating were to test their skills. And you know, what's the term they use? The boasting rights.
Yeah.
Boasting rights are very important in these things. So I felt certain that it would catch on. But to tell you that I thought it would be going strong and getting stronger after 50 years, I'm twisting the truth a little bit. And Brian was going to build this boat, which they eventually called Batman. It was the first boat of its kind. It was an 18-foot flyer.
Okay.
And he did such an excellent job on that boat. And people sort of moved after him because everybody wanted to get a boat like that. And Brian decided that he would leave his job. He left his job and he started his own business. He was very successful. He died in an accident, poor fellow, not boating, fortunately. He had established the Boeing design and it was going very, very successfully. Well, when he died, his wife carried it on for a while and she so.
What would you like to see for the race going forward now that it has hit 50 years and a bright future ahead of it? What would you like to see going forward for this race?
I would like to see more international competition. You know, with these things you can't turn back the clock, you got to go forward. And the distance is a challenge. 19 miles is a small, short distance compared to what you do across here.
Yeah.
Because when you take the overall course is somewhere between 76 miles, depending upon how the course is routed. Let's say we call it 75 miles. That's a pretty long distance, and I think it's one of the longer races, speedboat races in the world. I'm not sure, but I think I've read that somewhere. So there's scope for people who are into this. And at one stage, there was one race where you had as many as 4 Venezuelan boats that came down. But times change. So I'd like to see a resurgence of that and let the thing develop.